Hi, you got Chrome. Big thanks out to all the subscribers. I did a few things here to speed this video up on how I personally slick my own actions. So I pulled the buttstock off, which is the one screw here. Pulled it off. This screw here goes through here, hammer and tang and trigger. I pulled it out. And this spring was all the way back into here, down into there, and I put this when it was levered all the way, I put this pin in to hold the spring in that hole. And then first thing I do is pull the tang off. Of course the screw's out. Trigger, tang off. And I pull my hammer off. And there's another bolt and stuff you can do to take your bolt out, another screw. But I did it a couple of times and I lost the injector spring, and so I haven't been doing it lately. I've just been checking for all rough edges. Lots of these model 1892 replicas, or any replica, has a bit of rough edges. So first thing I do is I check for rough edges. These are actually fairly sharp. You don't want to get too carried away. So this is a really fine grit. Sandpaper is what it is. I just do all edges, rough edges. Don't get too carried away so you're not going in and damaging steel. I'll go right in here. If I feel any rough edges here on the slides, I'll sand them. And underneath where the hammer goes, I take it and I'll sand it. Underneath there quite a bit, because the hammer goes in there and that'll make it go a lot slicker. And then any rough edges for taking the tang out. Don't get too carried away because you don't want to take away any major portion of steel. Go on top of the hammer. Give her a good sanding. Any rough edges. I don't get too carried away because I don't want to damage any of the steel, but anything that feels like it's rough enough to where it would cause everything to not go slick is going to get a little bit of sanding. And then the main next thing I'll do, everything's back, presuming everything's back together, I'll spray down all of these portions. Every time I use the firearm, I'll go in there and spray down, and then I'll take the paper towel and get the majority of the oil away and put her all back together. And then the main thing I do, I don't get too carried away with taking away lots of steel, but any sharp edge I like it to go. And then the main thing I do to keep the action lubed is oil whenever I go to run the firearm. I'll put her back together without video on it. Takes a while.